Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and it looks like an army of guests today. In 2015, distracted driving caused the death of 3,477 Americans. Take an interlude and think about that. Texting, drinking, and talking to friends and other non-driving related activities also caused in that year the injuries of up to 400,000 citizens. Today we're going to talk about the dangers of distracted driving. This is an epidemic sweeping across our nation, threatening everyone that you love and hold dear, and making your ride home from this meeting a perilous journey, a cat and mouse game against the odds of distracted driving. Imagine for a second that this is your daughter, Kendall Lancaster. She's an All-American. She's a double varsity athlete at her high school. She's polite, punctual, kind to animals. For Pete's sake, she's an honor roll student. But Kendall also is a deadly virus on the road. She's a distracted driver, hell-bent on rampage and destruction from her mid-sized sedan. So the next slide will show Kendall on the right being a distracted driver, and then the view from the front of her purple 2008 Jetta as it goes through its rampage. As you see, Kendall is eating while driving, not looking at the road. It'll play in a loop a couple times. And you can see she travels across the yellow line, across the other side of the road, and onto the opposing shoulder before she looks up. Luckily for Kendall, no one was killed. So what is distracted driving? Simply put, distracted driving is anything that you do while driving that's not driving, that takes your mind away from driving. So this includes, of course, talking, texting on your phone, the biggest culprits, eating and drinking, talking with other people in your vehicle, headbanging to Bohemian Rhapsody, and then also my personal favorite culprit is the puppy in the lap. So this is illegal in 42 states across the nation, but not in California. In 2008, they passed legislation, bipartisan support, against the puppies in the lap, and then the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, vetoed it. So you can tell that the lobby, this little critter's lobby group is pretty powerful, and it belongs to that. So, and no one is above the law. E2W? E2. All right, so what's the big deal? The big deal is that distracted driving causes 6 out of 10 accidents on the road and 16% of the fatal accidents. So it's a big, big deal. And texting alone increases your risk of crashing by 23 times. So, and latency. Latency is a problem. As you can see from the Modern Family example right here, the driver's looking out the window, and as she moves back, it takes 27 seconds for your mind to get back to the task of driving. So it's not just the time that you are texting, but then after that, you're essentially a zombie for the next 27 seconds. Suboptimal until your mind fully re-engages. If you think about it, Jack being a mathematician, if you look at your phone to text for an average of 5 seconds and you're traveling at 55 miles an hour, this isn't the 2 trains crossing, don't worry about that, but if you look at it for 5 seconds, 55 miles an hour, that's enough time for you to travel the length of a football field, essentially with your eyes closed. So what do? Just take a quick second and let Ryan Gosling's good looks, chiseled jaw, and natural sex appeal to show you how to be cool when you drive. Do you think Ryan texts when he's driving a classic car in a major Hollywood blockbuster? I don't think so. If you want to be like Ryan, you're going to focus on driving. You're going to set up any navigation and music prior to driving, so you don't have to worry about it while you're operating the vehicle. Tell your passengers to zip it, and then use your blinker. This has nothing to do with distracted driving. I just feel like that's something else on a public announcement that I would say. It's a lot like knocking before going into the bathroom. If you don't do it, it can have disastrous results. But seriously, you can get involved. This is not a bumper sticker, but I felt that for this, but I felt like it went to it. So now, put peer pressure on those in your vehicle to focus on driving. If you're driving along and someone's texting and you're larger than that person, tell them to stop. If you're not, grab several of your large friends and come back to that person and re-engage. And then support tougher laws. So I think California deserves another try at that anti-puppy in the lap. Finally, if you are a parent, as I recently became, there are many resources that you can use to have the talk with your kids about distracted driving, how to improve their protection, etc. So let's clean up our streets and let's make stupidity illegal. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and especially Patty, who seems to have his arms full at the moment. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Toastmasters program, Patty was giving speech number 7 in the company communication manual. So when you start at Toastmasters, this is the set of projects that you do at first, and they take you through different aspects of public speaking. In this particular project, number 7, entitled Research Your Topic, or that's the title of the project, the objective is to choose a topic of importance to the audience, to do research about that topic, and then to support the points from that research. The speakers also to incorporate all of the skills from the previous projects, and I'll address that. One of the things that's most effective when you begin speaking is having an attention grabber. And Patty, I thought that your attention grabber was very well grabbing. I was not familiar with the specifics of the statistics, but they were much larger than I would think, and larger than I would think, given that you don't hear a lot about it. I know that there's starting to be some awareness of the issue of distracted driving, and yet I was surprised by the size of those statistics. So it definitely got my attention. You obviously did your research in order to cite those statistics. I liked how throughout you had effective use of humor, which provided a good interlude between an otherwise very serious topic, because given those statistics, this is something very, very serious that's going on. I thought that your slides were very effective. Now the thing about slides is, for those of you in the military, there's a phrase, death by PowerPoint, and I think you avoided that very effectively. One of the ways to avoid death by PowerPoint is not by having an eye chart of lots of different bullet points, and using pictures very effectively. I thought the use of pictures was particularly effective. In terms of exploiting previous projects, your voice, your body language, the words that you used, and having an effective and clear point were all incorporated. Those were in previous speeches. Now, some suggestions. You obviously had done your research. I didn't hear the sources being cited. I would have liked to have seen that. In terms of the slides, now you were effective with that. I would have liked to have seen a more consistent font. There were at least 2 different fonts that I saw, and having a larger font. You rarely had more than 3 bullet points, and there was plenty of room to have a larger and darker font. In terms of organization, I thought you were very effective in the body. You had a nice conclusion. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more up front. I'm going to tell you about the dangers of distracted driving, show you some examples, etc. So, except for that, the organization was outstanding. Overall, very effective project number 7. I look forward to 8, 9, and 10. Mr. Toastmaster.